In the previous lesson, we saw how we can create a quick website example, and we created a navigation menu with the links. So we tested the way that websites and web pages interact with each other using hypertext, using hyperlinks, and thanks to this, we can move into specific content and we can define a more precise and organized website structure or architecture. So we saw that the first page is always the index page, and then we have the other pages and then subcategories and then sub using a pyramidal structure instead of horizontal or vertical or more confusing structure. So once you have your website defined with the precise hierarchy, you can proceed and then create your pages and then organize them. But in this video, we will also see how we can configure a website using DREAMWEAVER tools, and especially using the Files panel. So if you don't have it open already, you can go to Window, go to Files, or you can press F8 to open up this particular panel, which is really important to manage websites, not just one, but also more than one websites. Now you can also go, let's go back here in the home page again. You can also start from the home page and you can click here in the site setup. So if you click here, you can configure your new website. And this is a tool again that is given by Dreamweaver, but it's essentially going to create a local folder where you're going to store all your pages and all your files and documents for your websites. And it also gives you the possibility to work with server and publish your website using FTP or file transfer protocol. So file transfer protocol is basically the process that is going to get you to connect with a server, and then you can upload files and documents and web pages in your website in your space. When you need to buy a space and a domain from a provider, and then you're going to have the possibility to manage your server. And so you're going to have a local file, a local website, and then a remote space, a remote part of a server, and then you can publish online on the web. Your website is going to be visible by anyone who has access to the web. So of course, also here you'll find a lot of examples, which is gonna be better for you to understand better, but let's not get into too many technical details. Also, you can use clients. FTP clients are software that are just to do this operation, just to upload, download. FileZilla is one of the most popular, and it's free and open source. Also, WinSCP, and there are also others. But in Dreamweaver, we do have an FTP tool, so you don't really need to use additional tools. This is just to know, extra notions about this and other options that you have. Now, another way, for example, in my case, I use a hosting provider that is giving me the possibility to do FTP online with a web space. So that's another possibility. But anyway, you can do this directly in Dreamweaver. So you need to set up everything in here, in the site setup. So first of all, let's set up a site name. So I'm going to call this lesson 06 site, and I'm going to locate the folder. You need to choose a folder. You need to specify a folder because, again, it all starts with your computer, your local folder, and then you're going to upload that folder or the content of that folder in your server to publish your website. So what I'm going to do is just create here a new folder in Windows. So I'm going to call this lesson 06, and in here this is going to be the folder for this website. So I'm going to select the folder, and so now I have a name, I have a folder. If you're working with other people, and yeah, you can specify the GIT, but you need to configure this. This is like more advanced, and usually this is used by developers and programmers, not really by designers. But if you want, you also have this other possibility. Servers. So this is where you configure your remote folder or your space in the server. So all you need to do is click on the plus, and you need to type here the various information that will be given to you by the hosting provider that you are using. So usually when you buy a domain for your website and you buy a space for your website to be uploaded, the server is going to have like a name. So you're going to put the name here, so name of the server. And again, these information are given by the hosting provider. So just ask them and they will tell you, or you will find this probably on the website like indication. So you need to choose the way you want to connect, FTP or secure FTP or others. And then the FTP address, which is usually FTP, etc., etc. And then usually you have a username that again will be provided by the provider, and your username, and then you're gonna have a password, which is again gonna be given by the provider. And then you can test if the connection works. And then here you can specify a root directory, and that's it. That this is gonna be your URL. So usually it's gonna be like www dot your website dot it, and save everything. Of course, this is not going to work. It's just to show you how you can set it up. And this could be remote or it could be just for testing. Let's put on remote, and that's it. So you can also click on plus and put more servers in this, but usually you just need one local site, one remote site on the server. And then you have other stuff here that you can configure, but the most important one is the local and the remote folder. And like the other one are a little bit more complex. Now, once you're ready, you can press save, and that's it. This is your website right here. And you can see here I have many because I created this before. So you can continue to create more and more websites. Now here you have the connection to the server. So when you're ready to upload your website with all the pages and documents, you can just click here to connect. And well, we need to like type a password. And you can see now it gives me an error because I didn't put the correct information. So you need to verify the URL and all the other information to actually connect. But once you are connected, you can see here with this arrow, you can get files from the remote server and upload files in the remote server. So basically you're published with this, and then you can refresh and you can expand this. And with this expanded view, you can see the remote and local sites. And you can click here to go back to the standard visualization. And let's see here. This is for the Git view. This is to show the files. And here I can switch. You can see here I can choose another website, and usually it looks like this. So you have like a bunch of pages, and then you have a JavaScript folder, CSS, images folder, and it depends on how you organize these. You can have more or less folders. And also if you go here, you can navigate into other websites folder from your desktop, from your computer. Here you have managed sites. So from here, I can decide, for example, to remove some of these. So if I want to remove the site that I just created, I can go here and just press on the minus, or I can click here and modify, so get back to the configuration. Here I can duplicate, and then perhaps I can rename this. So let's call this lesson 07. Okay. And I can also export and import. So you can export from here all the settings, and then you can import all the settings. This is useful probably when you need to go into another machine. You want to bring everything with you. So here you basically add, remove, manage all the size. So you can like simultaneously work on many different projects. So I can work like on 4 or 5 or 10 different websites at a time, and everything will be nice and organized into folders, and you can access them from here. So this is why this is pretty useful. And I show you this at the 6th lesson because we needed to know like more basic things here. Now you can get into more and more advanced